You being able to cut $5, $10, $15, $20, $40 out of your budget every month or save it every month, it's not a financial game changer. It's not going to completely change your quality of life because you went to Starbucks 5 less times that month. It's a great habit to start. It builds awareness around your spending habits. Yes, those things are good, but it's not going to change your financial life by saving 40, 50, 60 bucks every single month.
Welcome to the good life.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Good Life Visual Audio Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, C. Muzan. I got Coach Kabi in the building. Say what's up, Coach.
What up, though? Yeah, we are. Your brother's behind the mic, your uncle.
Gotta practice.
One of these days.
It's like free throws, man. You just gotta get in the gym and just practice.
Fair enough. I'm gonna do some reps. I'm gonna get it next time.
Next time. But either way, we're glad to be back. We're happy to be back with you again. As always, those of you that have been tuned in here to the Good Life for some time. This is episode 123. Number 123. We appreciate all the support. Woo! We appreciate everybody that leaves a comment or stops in, says hello, checks us out on the replay. As always, we continue to remind you to jump into our Facebook group. If you have not jumped in or joined the Facebook group, that is where we are really connecting and getting some one-on-one time with all of you guys, the people that are listening, the fans, the audience that is paying attention to getting to the good life, right? Diving into your health, diving into your finances, diving into your wealth, and making sure that you have solid foundations and things in place to be able to build. That's why you're listening. That's why you're watching. But join us over there on Facebook because we're really giving out all the info over there. Our next workshop is coming up. Depends on when you're listening to this. If you're checking in live right now, next workshop is coming up in like 2 weeks, June 29th, Thursday, June 29th, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. That's when you can join us in the workshop. If you're checking the replay and that date's already passed, join us in the Facebook group. The replay will be in there. But either way, we want to see you because, again, we're giving you the blueprint. It's a workshop to give you the blueprint on what to do in this health and wealth side of things. What have you been seeing, Coach? Talk to the people about what you've been hearing out there in the health side of things from some clients or some people that you've been talking to.
A lot of people are really I think they're waking up for summertime. I think that's what's happening. A lot of people are like, oh man, I guess winter hibernation is over, huh? Yeah, it's June. So a lot of interest in fasting. We woke up this morning with a post blowing up on Facebook about fasting. I believe we're about to hit 120,000 or so on that post with about an additional 5,000 followers overnight, all about fasting. So a bunch of questions, a bunch of stuff coming in. Guys, this is what you should know. I'll put this out real quick. Like, I don't want to make it too daunting, but fasting is something you want to be educated about because there's so many nuances, if you will, right? There's so many different pieces of it, different aspects of it, and it really depends on you, your body, your environment, your goals, what you're trying to do. So if you're on Facebook with us, check out that post. I'm sure it's over there. I'll break it down best of my ability. There'll be a YouTube video coming out that will break that down as well. Again, I've done others that you can check out on. There'll be I'll speak on it as well too in the group on the workshop. So you guys should definitely join the group and do that. And you can ask me questions directly in the group. You can schedule a time with me in the group if you would like to ask questions about your particular situation. It doesn't cost anything to talk to me. Um, uh, I was gonna make it.
What?
Let me move on.
Say it. What were you gonna say?
No. It doesn't. Let's just say it's free to talk to me.
There we
All
go.
right. Let's do that. Oh man,
Keep
but that's
it at
what we're
that.
seeing. Yeah, that's what we're seeing on the health side here. A lot of
Good.
food stuff, fasting stuff,
Yeah.
and people also really caring about their core, whether it's their
Mm.
six pack, whether it's digestive issues, whether it's back pain.
Mhm.
So that's what we're seeing.
That's huge. The fasting part's huge. Funny, my wife and I were just talking about fasting. I was having the conversation because, you know, we fast. I fast periodically, whether it be right actual solid food, whether it's juice, right, water, whatever we're doing,
Yeah.
right, or sometimes just fasting a thing, right, fasting alcohol, right, fasting sugar, something along those lines.
Yeah.
So I haven't brought it up to her recently about her fasting habits, right? Of like, hey, you haven't fasted anything recently, right? Like, can we? And we just had that conversation a couple days ago about like, hey, maybe we should think about fasting something, right? Pick
Right.
something to give yourself that break from, give your body that break from, break that attachment to. And I think
Yeah.
it's healthy. It's healthy.
That's huge, man. I appreciate you putting it that way because, and this is why I say there's a lot of nuances, right? Because
Mhm.
yes, we talk about the food, etc., but in its true essence, fasting really is just taking a break from something that's consuming a lot of your time, your energy, whatever it may be, and maybe isn't producing right anything, or it's maybe slowing you down, or maybe you just need a break from it so you can come back and enjoy it a little bit more on a higher level. That's really what fasting is, right? And a lot of people forget too, when you're doing that, that means you're taking a break for something so that you can focus more on something else. So you have to set both intentions, right? What is it that I need to maybe step back from, and where is it that I need to redirect that energy? Maybe it's just rest and
Mhm.
recovery, right? Maybe it's nothing, or maybe it's taking a break from going out all the time to focus on your finances.
Mhm.
Maybe it's taking a break from eating out all the time to focus on your health and digestion. Maybe it's taking a break from certain people because they're draining your spirit so that you could pray more. I don't know, whatever it may be, right? And I think it's I appreciate you putting it that way.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's important. So let's dive in. Our 2x2 for today.
By two.
We're riding high from this Denver Nuggets win
Woo.
yesterday, right? At the time of recording this, at the time of going live just yesterday, right? Yesterday? Monday?
Monday.
Monday. Okay,
Monday.
Monday. Yeah,
Yeah,
Monday.
Monday.
2 days ago. Monday, Denver Nuggets won the NBA finals. They won the NBA championship, going only 5 games. My predictions were totally off. I said I said the Miami Heat in 5. It was clearly not that. It was Denver in 5. Could be. I think you said Denver in 7 or 6 or
Yeah,
7.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
kudos to you on the win. But man, not just the fact that the Denver Nuggets won the NBA Finals, which is great. Heat put up a great fight, but specifically talking about the star player or their main player, we call him the Joker, Nikola Jokic. Jokic?
Nikola Jokic.
Jokic?
Yes,
Jokic?
I think so. I
It's
think so.
Jokic. I'm pretty sure. We're
Yeah,
good
that
there.
sounds right. That sounds
Yeah,
right.
Jokic. But either way, just getting a chance to watch him. We might have said this on the podcast earlier. I can't remember. But I could not see him being the face of the NBA at all. Right. I was like, I don't think this guy could do it. He's just this lanky Serbian guy, right? Just I don't know. He didn't look like the face. But after seeing him win this championship, man, we were saying this off camera. He's really grown on me. He seems like a really genuine, cool guy, and just the fact that he doesn't care as much about what's happening in his NBA career, like it's just low on his priority list, is awesome. I think just an awesome characteristic. Tell me your thoughts, man. What are your thoughts on this guy, the Joker, and the Denver Nuggets?
First of all, congratulations to the Denver McChicken Nuggets. We're gonna have to officially, I will have to officially retire the name and give you your due respect. because you have earned it, man. First championship in NBA and franchise history. And I love sports because I love the culture of sports. I believe it's a microcosm for life where we can it kind of runs in dog years, right? And we see the same sort of things that I think everybody experiences in life, but we get to see them deal with it in a different terrain and get to learn lessons from it. With that said, I find the Joker particularly interesting because he sort of, just as Steph Curry changed the game, I believe the Joker can change the game. Now we have kids here walking around in NBA shooting from half court consistently. Like, we've never seen that before. It almost doesn't. I saw a video on Instagram. I'm like, what is this? They just took turns to shooting from half court. They would dribble like 5 steps, then shoot it and make it. It's insane. All right. I think the Joker is also going to change things, or will continue to change things in this direction that's already started. What direction is that? Let's look at the last 3 MVPs. Right? We have Joker with 2, Embiid with 1, and Giannis with 1. All international big men. I think that's really interesting to see, the direction of it as the NBA continues to put more emphasis on growing the game globally. I'm curious to see how many more kids in Serbia and Yemen and wherever, right, pick up a ball because of some of these in Congo, right, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, in all parts of Africa, pick up the ball because of these influences that they're now seeing. And I love the Joker. I'll say this: he grew on me over time as well. But as I started to really pay attention and watch him a little bit more, I don't know about the face of the NBA. Partly because of who he is, and partly because the Nuggets are still a small market. But I do see him changing the game because he certainly has the respect of his peers.
Listen, I agree. I agree with everything that you said. I think Joker could change the game. In all honesty, what really strikes me is taking a step back away from basketball, because I don't think you can deny, like, obviously his talent. But what strikes me and really is the place that I land is just his demeanor about basketball. Right, the Joker's demeanor about basketball. I think we could all learn something from it here in this country.
Yeah.
Joker is, you just said he's going to change the game of basketball. Right, he's changing the game, and at the same time, he looks at this like a job, like a part-time job, like hey, I'm just good at it. This is basketball, but this is number 17 on my priority list. Actually, all these other things are way more important. My family, going back to my home country, doing things that I like and care about, answering these questions in front of the media doesn't matter. This trophy doesn't really matter. None of these things are really important. Even though I'm changing the game and I'm an amazing talent, none of this stuff actually matters. I think he has his priorities in the right order. And for an American, somebody that looks at sport, right, how we hold sport high, we regard it really high, like, oh, they're a champion and they're a mate. And he's just like, when's the parade? You see, I don't know if you saw that clip where he's like, are you looking forward to the parade? And he looks over and he's like, what day is the parade? When's the parade? And the guy's like Thursday. He's like, oh gosh, I just want to go home. I got to go home. Yeah. He doesn't even want the main prize. Everyone looks forward to the parade and the city's on and he's thinking about going home. So just the guy's demeanor about the game that he's dominating, it's it's refreshing, right? It's refreshing to see, and that's why he's growing on me, even outside of just him being a talented basketball player. Just looking at his level of I don't really care about this. Yeah, thank you. I'm good, but I'm trying to go race these horses. I'm trying to go.
Yes. You know what I mean? I was gonna say on his priority list, 17th is basketball, but 1 through 12th is horses.
Exactly.
Appears to be horses.
Exactly.
And then 13 is his family.
Exactly. But listen, this is what we talk about on The Good Life. This is success to him. For some people, success was winning the championship. For Jamal Murray, that was probably top of his, and again, not a wrong thing, but it's probably like top of his list, like being an NBA champion for his life. Like it's a big deal. Joker is just all right. Like it's not a big deal to him. He's living the life that he wants. I'm sure
Right.
he's done this, and now his family's legacy is probably set. I mean,
Oh,
he's made
set. The
hundreds
best
of millions
part,
of dollars.
the best part about the Joker story, in my opinion, are his brothers.
Mm.
His brothers are they make the whole situation that much more funny, in my opinion, because just as laid back as Joker is, his brothers are not. Right?
I always hear that.
Oh, bro, they tell that the wildest story I've ever heard is how, the Morris twins. The Morris twins, for you guys that don't know, are well known for being very tough. They're real, like identical twins. I believe they have the same exact tattoos,
Philly,
etc. They've been
Philly,
known.
215.
Yeah.
All day.
They real
All day.
Philly. Yes.
All
Okay.
day.
You know what? I didn't know they were Philly, but that makes a
Yes.
whole lot of sense that they're Philly. They are very Philly.
That's Philly.
Well, let me repeat. They are very Philly. Like if everything you think about Philly, that's the Morris twins, right? They're known for I don't know, for just being very, very tough. And I believe it was one of them, Markeith or more, whatever. One of them like pushed Joker or something, and Joker went and pushed him back. And the Morris twins, they do what they normally do, throw out a couple of threats, act all aggressive, etc. The brothers, Joker's brothers, created or bought or took out a Twitter account. I think they created a Twitter account and only used it once. Once to respond to a tweet from one of the twins where it said, "Your brother started it. What is it? Your brother started it. Joker finished it. You would be best advised to leave this situation alone." End of story. Bruh, let me just tell you how gangster that is. Nobody talks to the Morris twins like that. I don't think you understand, bro. Like I'm pretty sure they were associated with a couple murders. No, bro. There's a story in the NBA where they've been associated with the wildest things. Like,
no, they were.
You guys can look this up. But they got street cred. Let's just say that.
Sure.
They got street cred. And these dudes just respond with one tweet and the situation just dies down. Funniest thing I've ever heard. And Joker would never do anything like that because he doesn't need to. He got two goons behind.
He got two goons as brothers. I like literally, I remember probably like twice in these playoffs that you would hear the announcer be like, "And look at the Joker's brothers in the stands arguing with somebody," right? Like, they're really getting into it over there, right? Like, they're always getting into it.
It seems the Joker brothers are tussling with the Miami crowd.
Exactly,
the whole crowd.
The whole section? They're gonna take on the whole section?
No, not the section, bro. The whole crowd. I'm like, how? Oh man, I love it. I absolutely love it. And I love to see that he's just absolutely changing all of Serbia. So we're going to see. I mean, we have Victor Wembanyama, right? Another international big man with ridiculous skills coming. Bro, this is a trend. I think this is a trend. Big international men coming with ridiculous skill sets. We'll see.
Change the game. It'll change the game. The NBA's always wanted to be an international sport anyway. Like, this has been the plan. I feel like I watched this on a 30 for 30 or some type of documentary where they were like, David Stern, the prior commissioner, like he planted this. Like, they knew they wanted to be international.
Absolutely.
Right. So this is not a surprise that now you're seeing a lot more young talent come from these places. They were putting these junior NBA leagues in all these other countries and scouting it, and like the NBA is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. They understand what they're doing, right?
If any sport is going to, what would you say, soccer probably is like the recognized international sport, at least when I was growing up. If any sport I think is going to overtake that, I think it'll be basketball.
Somebody out there somebody in the comments is going to say the NFL.
No way.
I don't think so either.
No way. It'll be basketball.
I think so.
You need a hoop and a ball, small amount of space. It's going to be basketball. And the cool factor, right? Like, I was talking to somebody the other day about how when you think about why the U.S. is such a powerhouse, a huge piece of that is the culture exported particularly by Americans of color, particularly by Black Americans, right?
Sure.
And that includes basketball. I have students I work with from all over the world who one of the first things they ask me when they meet me is do I play basketball?
Basketball. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Listen,
that's
it's
what we'll
true.
see.
No, I agree. I've always thought it was basketball. Basketball has been a love of mine anyway. But because of the individual nature of it, you can see your hero, you can see your Steph Curry, you can see your Joker, right? You can identify with them. It causes kids to really have those role models. Football is tough to do that, right?
Can't
But
even
that's
see their face.
you can't. But that's why they're trying, right? That's why they have all these games in like London and Germany, and right, like every season they're having
Flop.
more and more games in all these different countries because they're trying to build that international brand. But NBA's got it.
Yep. I believe the NFL will continue to own the USA, but internationally speaking, the NBA has got a really, really, really strong future.
Agreed. But soccer is still crushing everybody. I think soccer is.
Oh yeah, $1.6 billion from Messi to
He went
go
Miami.
to Saudi Arabia, and he turned that down. Oh,
I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's a lot of money to turn down, bro.
Either way, we might have to have a whole sports show because we could probably talk about. I don't know if you're up on like the golf side of things with like PGA and Live.
Yeah. PIF just bought golf.
Really?
End of story. Yeah. The what is it? The investment fund, right? PIF. That's what they're called. The investment fund that they put together. They literally just bought golf.
Just bought it.
I don't like the whole sport of golf. I hope people understand
that. Well, either way, we should probably talk about it. It's probably some money things in there.
Huge money things
we could talk about. So, but either way, for today's show, episode 123, what we wanted to dive into and what we're going to talk about are some money things that are plaguing our society. Some of these money myths and the things that we're hearing out there. We want to take some time today on the Good Life to debunk some of those. Let's talk about some of the things that are common around money. Again, the reason why I enjoy doing this, specifically talking about money and talking about finance and helping people down that path, is because it's not often that we're talking about money with a lot of people, right? We're not normally having those conversations. And so the more that we can have these conversations out in the open, the more that we can get to some truths, to some, just understanding around some topics. So some of these myths that had popped up, I think we found an article, had some myths pop up. We want to take some time today to address some of those myths. Some of these you've probably heard before. Some of these you might have said before to yourself. Some of them are just topics that we just got to get out in the open, but we want to dive in and talk about some of these money things today. So, Kabir, what do you got on this side, on the myth side of things?
Well, let's start off by this money myth. Giving up daily coffee purchase is a financial game changer. Mr. Muzan, what are your thoughts on this money myth?
Giving up coffee, your daily coffee, your Starbucks coffee, is a financial game changer. So why would that be a myth? Here's where I'll start with that. It's not necessarily that it's a myth, because it depends on how much coffee you really do drink. Like, that really could be a game changer for somebody that goes to Starbucks 3 times a day, 5 days a week, because there are people that do that. You get it on the way to work, you get it in the middle of your day, and then you get a refill on the way home. It's quite possible that someone does that. So for you, it might be a game changer. But where the sentiment of this question comes from, I understand. If you remember, bro, they were having like there would always be this meme out of like, if the millennials just saved $5 on drinking coffee, you could put that into a Roth IRA, and over 20 years, that could be $275,000 for you, right? Like, that was the thing of like this running joke that like millennials and young people just waste money on coffee, right? On, before it was avocado toast or whatever it was. There was always
hey, stop coming for California.
I'm just saying, there was always something. So the reason why it's a myth is because, again, you being able to cut $5, $10, $15, $20, $40 out of your budget every month or save it every month, it's not a financial game changer. It's not going to completely change your quality of life because you went to Starbucks 5 less times that month. It's a great habit to start. It builds awareness around your spending habits. Yes, those things are good, but it's not going to change your financial life by saving 40, 50, 60 bucks every single month. Okay? By not drinking coffee. It would be a financial game changer if you increase your income by $10,000 that month. That's a financial game changer, right? It's one thing to be aware, it's another thing to call it a game changer. Coffee is not really your problem. There's probably some other habits you got too that are really the problem. That's why it's not fully the myth.
I agree with you. It depends. It depends. But just so we can actually address this a little bit, let's say you live in California. I don't know, right? Let's say you go to one of these coffee shops and let's say you get a coffee or and maybe a little something. You're not spending any less than $8,
Nothing less
right?
than eight.
So let's start with eight. Let's just say $8,
Mhm.
right? So $8. Let's say you do that. You know, you're really aggressive. You do that just once. By the way, not the 3 times we're talking about, but just once a day. And let's do that. That means you're getting about $240 a month. Okay. Now, it may not be a game changer necessarily by itself, but it may be a game changer if you take that 240 and put it in another place. All
That's
right.
true.
So what I mean by that is, let's say, oh, I don't know, perhaps you're struggling with your health. All right. I could show you how to take that 250 a month and invest it in some high quality, high octane food, right? That will actually go ahead and not just replace your coffee, but also replace your coffee, replace your breakfast, and even replace your lunch.
Mm.
Right. And you're getting 2 meals for that coffee price delivered to you, and you're actually going ahead and locking in a more, not just sustainable but a better way of eating and feeding your body, and you're not drinking as much coffee. So that could be a game changer.
That's huge. That's a great reframe. That's a great way to think about it. If we're not just going to save it, it's not just about saving it and taking it away. It's about taking it and redirecting it into something that will actually be a game changer in your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I often run into a lot of people who they'll say, "Oh man, $240. Man, that's kind of expensive." But then they will gladly walk by a Starbucks, right? And grab a large macchiato double whipped super flap flip flap double click clap boop bop bidip boop with a side of brown tostito extra fermented blah blah blah, like, you know what I mean? And they'll gladly drop, and they walking out of there $11.
Right.
Nothing too crazy, right? $11,
Just
and they'll do
tap
it a
the
couple
card.
times, right? Just tap the card
Just
because
tap the
they've made
card.
it so easy for you to tap the card, or
That's
even they
it.
don't tap no card anymore. Just click, click, Apple Pay.
There we go.
All right,
Little Apple
click,
Pay,
click, Apple Pay.
little
So,
scan, little bar scan.
yep, yep, and even worse, right? A little palm read, right? And they have these now, right?
No.
Yes, dude.
No.
Yes, I was at Amazon just down the street, and yes, you can get a thing in your palm, bro.
No.
I know.
No.
I got photos
Inserted in your palm
in your hand, fam. Yes, and you
to
just
tap.
pay. Yes, I
No.
kid you not. This is
No.
People literally called me a conspiracy theorist not long ago. This is actually
Where
real, guys.
where do you get these chips from?
I saw a poster at Amazon. I'll take a photo and send it to you. I probably already have a photo, to be honest, because I remember just looking at it and I was like, people called me crazy for saying this,
That's wild.
bro. Real dog, and it has the palm right over the reader, so you see what's going on. No joke.
You know who loses in this? People that make wallets. Who makes wallets? you know, in
Dead.
in every right revolution, there's some industries that get knocked out. Whoever made wallets, whoever like that's their primary business was wallet making, out of there.
Tough times ahead.
Out of there.
Tough times ahead. because that is gonna get a lot easier to do. Because again, I was talking about this not too long ago, man. I talked about what gold-backed cryptocurrencies,
Sure.
right? That would be ideal. But what they are doing now is implementing what is it? Central bank digital
Digital
currencies.
coins. Yeah.
Yeah, not backed by gold. It's
Right.
already out. And now I just saw that they're discussing, or was it France or somebody is already discussing universal income,
Mm,
central bank digital currencies,
mhm.
universal income, easier ways to pay, chip in hand. Y'all connect whatever dots you want to connect. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Y'all connect whatever you want to connect. I'm just saying these are things that are happening.
It's moving fast.
Moving real fast.
It's moving fast.
Myth number 2. This one is hilarious. Auto dealers give you the best rate on a loan.
It's funny because when we read that one first, we're like, what? We both looked at it like, is that really a thought? Like, do people really believe that the like your best bet is to get a loan from the actual car dealer? Like from, maybe some people do. We don't want to dismiss that, right? Because we never know where you start. But to debunk the myth, yeah, listen, plenty of other opportunities and ways to get somebody to give you money for a car. Notably, go to your local credit union. Go to your local credit union. They normally are going to give you a pretty favorable rate, especially if you're a member of that credit union. They're going to give you a pretty favorable rate when it comes to a car loan, getting pre-approved for a certain amount of money for a car. You can then take that pre-approval from the bank and then go shopping for a car because you're probably going to get a better rate. You're going to get better interest on it, better terms, the whole nine, because it's coming from an institution that does that versus you going through the finance department of Toyota or the finance department of Honda or whatever the case is, because you're not even paying attention to all the points or the percentages that they're putting on to a lot of those loans. So yes, there are other ways to go about getting a better rate, better interest rates when it comes to buying or financing a car. Most likely go through a credit union. That'd be your first step. You have any other ones did I miss anything? Like what's another way to get money for a car loan?
Family. Ideally, you have some family banking going on, and you can go to dad, mom, grandpa, grandma, uncle, older brother, older sister, aunt, whatever, and they could write you the loan, right?
Right.
Not It's not a gift, right? They could write you the loan, probably at a better interest rate, and you keep the interest within the family. I think ideally that is the best way to go about it. Oh, my family doesn't have that type of money. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, the car you're buying is probably too expensive, number one. Number two, right? It's something to work towards so that we change generation by generation. So when I got my car, I took out a stupid loan from the dealership. So I know that route quite well. My younger brother was getting ready to get a car. He called me up. Hey, what should I do? I say, by no means, on no way, no how should you get a loan from him. He's like, well, but how am I going to get a loan? How am I going to get a car then? It's like, we will figure it out. Just don't get a loan, right? And we were able to figure it out. A family friend was able, who had a license to an auction, was able to get a car, like $3,000, put in $2,000 to fix it up, and got it right around $5,000. Wrote him up a little personal loan to it. He put down $1,000. Now he's paying off $4,000 at a reasonable rate per month. Saved him, probably saved him more headache than he will ever realize.
That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah,
that's
it.
That is a big deal. I think this might be Aaron, Facebook user, says, I learned the hard way about car dealerships, right? Sometimes that's how we learn, trial and error. That's why we do the show. That's why we have the conversation, because we don't want you to just learn the hard way, right? After you mess up, after you get the 14% interest loan or the 12% interest loan after that, then you're like, oh, I probably could have gotten 4%, 5%, 6% somewhere. Well, instead of going the route of losing money first, let us guide you down the path, guys. Don't go through the car dealership. Search around, go to family, go to friends, create that ability to get that loan another way.
1000%. Myth number 3. Financial advisors always have your best interest at heart. Where's the laugh button? We need one.
we need one of those.
So talk to us about financial advisors always have your best interest at heart, and maybe the difference between financial advisors and other players in the game.
I think that's just even the best place to start, because if the myth is that a financial advisor always has your best interest at heart, well, you got to understand like what a financial advisor does and why they're different from other people in the financial services space, right? So I've broken this down before, but it doesn't hurt repeating it as we go down this path. A financial advisor, typical traditional financial advisor, is going to basically be putting your money into the market. They're going to help you with investments and growing your portfolio. Their job is to find, the monies that you come with, right? 50,000, 100,000, 20,000, whatever those numbers are that you come with, putting them in the right portfolio, a mixed blend of stocks and bonds, mutual funds, index funds, those types of things. They'll understand what your goals are for investment purposes, what your risk tolerance is, and then they're just going to invest your money. How many of them get paid is something called assets under management, which basically means the more money that they can manage for you, the more they get paid. They may get 1% or 1.5% of the total amount that is sitting inside of your investment accounts. And they get that from each client that they work with. So that's where you could run into advisors that maybe don't have your best interest, but maybe they're out for money. This is not just for financial advisors, and I don't want to paint a picture of like all financial advisors this way, because there's a lot of industries where people are just out for money. But also understanding that when you're dealing with money as a financial advisor, it's easy to get into, how do I make more of this? How do I get more of it? And so a lot of times, or sometimes, I don't want to say a lot of times, sometimes that advisor will put their company or the products that they're in ahead of the people that they're working for, the client. So you'll hear this term called a fiduciary, right? A fiduciary means you have the client's best interest at heart. At least that's what they have you understand or believe, right? But again, we're just talking about people across the board. So you have to find someone that you trust, that's knowledgeable, that educates and teaches you and helps you down the path. But your traditional advisor is normally not going to do that. Normally, they're going to just work on your portfolio and make sure that your money is growing adequate to what you want to it to be. That's the advisor side. Come down that path, you have financial planners, CFPs, certified financial planners. They work kind of like advisors, but they actually more are well-rounded in your picture of, again, planning. They may look at some of the other areas of your financial life as well, not just your portfolio, but they'll look at some of the areas like your debts or some of the other supplementary things, some of the other savings accounts or investment accounts, but they're really just trying to plan for what you want to make happen. Okay. So that's the CFP side of things. Then you come down to the financial coaching side of things, which is where we are. Financial coaches, again, think of a coach in any area. They're really helping you down your journey. They're giving you more tips. They're working with you more one-on-one. We're talking more about money mindset. We're talking about why you have habits the way that you do, why you're spending money in the certain ways. We also have a planning aspect where we're thinking about your future and what you're planning towards, but we're really looking at the kind of the the things that you're doing in a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, and how that's translating to either taking you towards your financial goals or taking you away from them. So that's coming down that path so you understand some of the differences between just those basic ones. Financial coach, financial planner, financial advisor. They're a bit different in what they do. So for the myth saying all financial advisors, right, have your best interests at heart, obviously not. Like that's just not going to be the way that it works. Ideally, you would hope that they do, and you would hope that they're putting you in the right products. But the problem is if we just blindly trust that they're doing that, then really we're the ones that are going to be left right in the dark because we're not educated on what's happening with our money. So you got to just learn to find a good advisor if that's the way you want to go. Finding a coach, find someone that can help guide you down the path. Doesn't necessarily have to be that they are managing your money, but at least educating you on your money.
Perfect. I think it's very important to continue to educate the public, myself included, bro, about the differences between these players, because I think a lot of people that I know get overwhelmed, and as a result, they abdicate their responsibilities, both in the area of health and in the area of money in particular, to so-called experts, and sometimes that comes back to bite them. So, I would advise any individual who's thinking about it, about getting some advice, to start with a financial coach who can then point you in multiple directions and doesn't have an interest in necessarily making money off of your money immediately, but is there to really, has the heart of a teacher, and is there to really guide you and to be your coach on the sideline while you're in the game. If you need a recommendation, I do know one. And it's not Chris. Now I'm just playing.
Please give their name. Let's go. Let's drop some names.
But yeah, absolutely. Leave a message anywhere in the group, anywhere you see this video. Chris will definitely connect with you and start the conversation. I think it's very, very important.
Yeah,
to
I
have
appreciate that. I appreciate that because that's helpful. I think just for people to know that you can come. I mean, start here with the financial coach. And I've had plenty of meetings where someone comes to me, tells me kind of what they have going on, and I will recommend they go see an advisor. That happens. Because again, we all have different roles. Now, an advisor may not send you back down to see a coach. They're probably not going to go the other way. But there's some people that, again, we come across that they are in that place. They have some liquid money, their foundation's in place, they're feeling good. They really do just want to understand how to let their money work in the stock market. That's really what they want. And they don't want to have the time to do it and learn. Well, then we need to get an advisor involved. That's what we need to do. And that's perfectly fine. And we can pass them off, right? They can go that direction. But most people, as you start thinking about like, man, I probably need somebody. Once you start having that thought, start with a coach. Start here, because then we'll guide you and say, hey, what are you trying to get to? How are you thinking about it? Sometimes you're not even thinking about money as intently, so you don't even know kind of what questions to ask, or like kind of how the session would go with an advisor, or kind of what's required of you. You really just don't know the process. And again, work with a good coach. Again, I can only speak for myself, but I know a few other ones that are quality in what they do. They're going to guide you down the path of the resources and the people to go see that are really going to help you get to where you got to go financially.
That's right. Let's move on here to number. I'm going to go ahead and call an audible here and go to number 6. Paying off your mortgage early isn't worth it. Listen, I'll go ahead and step back here. You got the floor.
You just throw it up. You just want to lob it up.
Oh man! So you used to play that game as a kid. You just throw up, whether it's the fireworks or whatever it is, and you run. Or football, right? Throw it up. Yeah, that's it right here. I'm getting out the way because it's gonna be explosive.
Read it one more time. What's the actual myth?
Let's get it. Myth number 6: paying off your mortgage early isn't worth it.
Paying off your mortgage early isn't worth it.
So I
So
guess the saying that it
that
is
it
worth
is
it.
worth it. It is worth it. That's what they're
All
saying.
right,
And
that's my
so,
understanding.
and again, uh, it's tough. It all depends, guys. We talk about this all the time. This shouldn't be shocking to anybody because we talk about the same thesis over and over again, that there's not one financial strategy that works for everyone. There's not one health strategy that works for everyone. There's not one magical cure all that says, okay, this is the right way to do it. So, same thing when it comes to things like homes, right? Paying off your home. A lot of times, because we are, how should I put it, hypersensitive to debt. Some people become hypersensitive to debt. Like our number one priority in life is getting out of debt. Got to get out of debt. And because a home is such a large purchase and puts us in such debt, it actually flares that hypersensitivity to it. So now we think it's just the right thing to pay down this few $100,000. Man, if I could just get out of this debt, this house debt, I just want to pay this down. And for some in that position, because again, back to some foundations, you have adequate savings, you've been putting money aside, you have an emergency fund, you're actively investing long term and putting money away, you don't have any consumer debt, credit card debt, personal loans, those types of things. uh, when all of that is solidified and taken care of, and you have an excess amount of money, then absolutely paying down your mortgage, if that's the only type of debt that you have left, then great. That could be a good usage of that money. That could be. But in general, just know it's different per situation. If you have credit card debt, your savings is not where you want it to be. Your retirement savings is not where you want it to be, and you chose to get a mortgage, right? Let's remember, right? You could rent. I know all the people in the comments, it's just throwing away money. I get it. I understand. But for some, once you take on that choice of having that home, that becomes more expenses, more liability, more overhead. All of these things become more. And so right now you're trying to figure out how to make sure that you're maintaining those things. It might not make sense to just keep paying more towards your debt. And again, they'll tell you in the mortgage side an extra $1,000, an extra mortgage payment a year drops your drops your payments for, cuts it 3 years off your payments or 5 years off your payments or something like that. Those things are true, but it's just, what's the priority? That might not be the priority in your financial life right now, because you have a deficit in savings, you have a deficit in your investing, you're maybe in some debt. Paying off the home is not going to be the right thing. You have none of that stuff, then sure, go ahead and start paying off your home, because being debt free can bring some peace to people. Just don't want people to be hypersensitive over it.
Yeah, yeah. And when I was thinking about this, where like a couple questions that come to mind is, first and foremost, to your point, should one ever get a mortgage?
Right.
Right. I think that used to be an automatic yes, when as soon as you can. I'm not sure that's the case anymore. Listening to you and also going through a few of this personally. All right. And in what context does it make sense? If you should get one, what is the context? So you broke it down a little bit there. This is definitely something we'll revisit on other episodes, because I think it is important to shift the thinking and the conditioning, dare I say, around it. There's a reason why there's a marketing campaign around, buying a mortgage. It's such let's take a step back. Many of the things in life financially, I feel like we should avoid are glorified by marketing.
That's right.
Right. Whether it's taking out debt to go to college,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a glorious, very expensive wedding, whether it's buying your dream home as a status symbol, whether it's taking out a loan to get a nice BMW as a status symbol, right? These are four things I just named right here that absolutely break individuals as they go into adulthood, and also puts handcuffs on them.
That's right.
right? So if your goal here is for the good life, your goal here is for freedom, your goal here is to enjoy life and to be free and et cetera, et cetera. I would argue that these are probably the top four financial things we should maybe not, maybe, different order, but that we should probably avoid or figure out a different way to address, right? Yes,
Yeah.
you need shelter. Yes, you need transportation. Yes, you should be educated, right? And yes, you should find an awesome partner. But does that mean that we do it the way that it's been done and getting ourselves in these prisons, really, in these holes? Right. And that's really the question when it comes to mortgages. What is it for? Like, what are you really doing? Um, and I see a lot more education around this piece right here.
Yep, it's breaking some of that programming. We're heading into completely different times in our economy and our society. We will have to unlearn and relearn some new ways of handling our money. And again, right now we might not see it. My prediction as far as like what's happening. Again, you'll hear a lot of stuff in like the housing market, and the housing market's going to collapse and things are going to come down, or people in real estate are like, no, it's going to be steady, it's going to keep going. Like, who knows? But what I do know is over a 10 to 20-year period, they're going to try to turn us into a nation of renters again. And we're right now where we're seeing high prices for rent, it's all going to get subsidized just like everything else, right? Just like, if you understand, again, we talk about our modern food environment. The reason Walmart wins, fast food wins, is because they buy in bulk, they subsidize all the prices, right? Like, you know what I mean? You can get things for very cheap when you have 30,000 units, right? that you can produce. Well, with all of these hedge funds and big money actually going into single family residents, right? Actually buying up single family homes, what's going to happen is rents are going to get extremely low over a 10-year period, right? It's going to get back to a place where people are going to be like, oh, this is just the way we do it because we only pay, $800 a month, $900 a month for our living, because this is one of 700,000 doors that BlackRock owns, so they can subsidize, right? They can lower that rent a bunch because they have so much of it in volume. That's what it's actually heading towards. So we will head into a nation of renters. Right now it's important to just make sure, because again, when we go down this mortgage path, when we go down this like living path, sometimes we don't zoom out and just understand the benefit is ownership of something. Right? The benefit is ownership. We happen to think of it as like a house that we live in. But if we can just shift the perspective and say, okay, maybe it was a mortgage for the house that we live in, that was a form of ownership. Just like 70 years ago, owning a horse was a thing or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's a form of ownership that means something to that society. Well, a house was a form of something that meant something to our society. I think that's going to change over the next 10 to 20 years, where it's not going to mean much to own a home. Ownership will be important. It will always be important. Owning a home may not be as important as it has been over the past 30, 40 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I think spot on. Let's leave you with two more we got here, and maybe the best for last. The next one here is you must monitor the stock market daily. Didn't you know?
These are the people, like, there's such hot and cold on this side. There's some people that are like, I look at it every day. Like, I look at it, like, I just see my money going up and down. What should I do? And then there's some people that are just like, I can't look at it ever. Like, I actually never look at the thing, right? I don't even know. I've been doing something for 15, 17 years. I have no idea how much is there, right? We live on such extremes on this side. And so the thing to understand about this myth: no, you don't have to watch the stock market every day unless you are a trader. Unless you are a stock market trader, meaning you are in and out of positions on a daily basis. You are buying and selling stocks, you are shorting, and all of those types of things. You are actively studying trading. That is the time you are looking at the markets move on a daily basis. If you are putting money into a mutual fund, into a 401k, IRA, Roth IRA, some type of stock portfolio, that is a mid-term or long-term investment. So minimally, you're looking at that thing every couple years, or you're just pushing that all the way down the road and checking it, every quarter, just kind of seeing what the statement is, but you're not really making a ton of changes and moves with the money that you're setting aside. So you don't have to look at the money in the stock market, um, because most likely it's midterm or long term, and you really don't have much control over it unless you are trading it, right? You are in and out of positions, jumping in and out. Unless you're doing that, you got no control over what the market's going to do. Facebook could be up 10% today and down 15 tomorrow. It doesn't matter how many hours you're on Facebook. Your money's going to do what it's going to do. Once it's a form of what we call passive investing, because you're just giving your money off to Wall Street. Whatever the company does, the company does. So of course, looking at it is not going to change anything. That's it.
Yeah. And not only is it not good, well, let's say this, it will change your level of stress.
That's very correct.
It will change your level of stress. This is one thing that I've just observed a lot of people talk about, and the people that I trust are pretty much in agreement with exactly what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a trader, we're probably not even talking to you. If
Right.
you're a trader, right? You know what you're doing. You do you keep going, brother, sister. Or all right, let's not get into genders here. Them, they, her, it, be, clook, scop, beat, but all
them.
right. In fact, what I have observed is that kind of like real estate, you want to be in the mid or long position. Like you want to, flippers are not the way to go. You want to buy and hold. That's what I've heard from the people that I trust in real estate.
That's right.
Seems like it's something similar here as well.
Right.
You want to buy and hold. Make sure you do your research. The best time to do your research is before you buy.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So if you buy correctly, you will always make money.
That's right.
That's what I've heard. If you buy correctly, you'll be fine. If you buy correctly, and just put yourself in a position where you don't have to go sell that house to go buy gas.
That's
All
right.
right. So that's it, man. It makes a lot of sense to me. Thanks for breaking that down. Last one here is that money can make you happiest. This was kind of silly for both of us. Right? Yeah, I'll take this. I'll take this one, bro.
There we go. Please.
Come on, God. It depends. It depends on your situation. Does money make life easier? Yes. Does it give you more options? Yes. Does it give you, time, freedom, etc.? Yes. But nothing is gonna make you happy except for what's going on in here and in here. It's up to you as to make a criteria as like what is your sense of happiness. And brother, let me toss it to you.
Listen, you said everything that needs to be said about that. We all know this. Money, again, brings us the things and gives us the ability to put ourselves in a position to do more of the things that make us happy, that bring us happiness, that bring us joy, that bring us peace, that give us time freedom. That's what money does. But is it innately just going to make you happier because you have it in your hand, because you put it in your bank account, because you look at it? No, of course not. It's not going to make you the happiest person in the world. How many wealthy people do you hear over and over again say, right, the money means nothing if I just can't have my health, if I just can't have my family, right? If I could just have these people back, or whatever the case is, the money means nothing. Because at the end of the day, it's not going to innately just give you happiness and make you happy. It can help you purchase some of the things that bring those things into your life. That's why we continue to do it. Kind of talk about it and go after it and those types of things. But don't think it's going to be the joy, the source of your joy and happiness. None of that stuff is it. It's like could be said, what's going on in your mind, what's going on in your spirit, in your soul, and how much you're connected to that side and in alignment with what you should be doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've said this on the show, a little bit more when we first started, but I think it's time to bring it out again. To me, money is a derivative of energy, right? It is the grandchild of energy. right? Whether it's gold, you need much energy to extract that gold, right? Whether it's you're bartering, you need energy to create the thing that it is that you're going to barter for. Whether it's you know oil or gas, like you need energy to extract the thing, and this is a representation of that energy and a way to really express appreciation.
Yeah.
Right, express appreciation for whatever that energy that was given is. That's really what money is. This day and age, it doesn't require as much energy because we just push a button and a whole bunch of numbers appear on the screen from the Federal Reserve. Yippity doo! But that's a conversation for another day. We'll save that, and we'll be back unless we get canceled as a result of that comment.
I feel like we shouldn't get canceled from anything we've said. I think we're good for this
All
one.
right, good. Thank goodness. Whew. We made it through another one.
By the skin of our teeth, right?
Yes, yeah.
Either way.
All right, guys, listen, make sure that you join the Facebook group. Make sure you just do that. Just join the Facebook group, and we'll go ahead and make sure that we get you everything you need in the group.
Right.
Appreciate you guys.
Right.
Until next time. Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Good Life. We hope you found our discussion helpful and inspiring.
If you enjoy this episode, please take a moment to subscribe and like our channel. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an episode.
We want to hear from you, our listeners. If you have any feedback or suggestions for future episodes, please leave us a comment down below.
If you're listening to the podcast audio version, we appreciate you just as much. Thank you for tuning into the Good Life Show. And be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss an episode.
We believe that everyone has the potential to live their best life, and we hope our show helps you get that one step closer to achieving your goal.
If you know someone who would benefit from our show, please share it with them, and thank you for your continued support.
So again, that's it for another week's episode here on The Good Life. We'll see you next week for another inspiring conversation.
Welcome to the good life.